Downs Association, because they are the representatives of every Downs person and child in the country.
Yeah.
And they receive a great deal of money from the government and from charitable donations in order to protect these children.
Yeah.
And the chief executive, Carol Boyd, I'll be quite blunt about it, has betrayed every single person in that organisation by what she did.
Yeah, so that's another person who needs to go, needs to be sacked.
Absolutely.
In that sense. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's an absolute disgrace.
Yeah, it is. It's horrifying. I mean, I don't know what to say really. I mean, it needs to be, as I mentioned in the beginning, it needs to be understood and just rooted out. We need to deal with these problems. It's nothing else to do here. And
that's right. I think the alarming thing there, Henrik, as I should point out, is the Down syndrome is based in London. It's not in Scotland. It's in London. So obviously the tentacles of these people reach even to London. They've got tremendous power in Scotland, but it's not just Scotland. They can even get somebody kicked out in England.
Down there, yeah. It's insane. It's incredible. And I mean, both of you obviously are very brave for doing what you're doing, and at the same time, from your perspective, Anne, I definitely understand that there's, as you mentioned before, kind of no choice. You choose to go down the road of fighting this thing, and now you're in the middle of it, as it were, in that sense, and you've been involved for a very long time. And you also mentioned, obviously, that for people, the best thing for them to do right now, if they want to get involved or whatever, is to follow what you're doing and keep up with it. This could change at any day, depending on what happens and if the media choose to cover it and so forth. But why don't we spend a little bit of time of giving out some of the sources that you have online where people can follow your documentation and your stories and so forth. I know that you have a Facebook group, you have some blogs as well out there. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
So where do people go to find your websites and your blogs?
Well, Robert will be able to tell you better.
Yes, there are quite a few. There are quite a few actually that you can refer to just by typing in Hollie Greig, and I think it's important just to get the spelling right. It's Hollie, and then Greig is spelled Greig. And there are various sites. There's, if you type in the UK column, one of the very brave public newspapers who've been supporting the story for quite a long time now.
Yes.
You can type in that. You can type another Scottish group called the Scottish Law Reporter, an online magazine who's also been very, very brave. There's also a lot of information on what they call Stolen Kids, the shocking story of Hollie Greig. And there's also things to do with the ones with David Icke, who's been very, very good in supporting us on this.
Absolutely. I know I can mention that we're going to do a follow-up program with David on this issue as well. He's going to join us here next week sometime, and we're going to talk with him about it and help bring further exposure to this story and to this case, obviously.
Oh, that would be wonderful. So we are getting some very, very good supporters, and I don't think he'll mind me saying so, but Jim Corr of the famous, the renowned Irish band The Corrs has been very supportive indeed.
Oh wow, that's wonderful.
And we are getting more and more high-profile support, which is another way in which we can bring it into the public domain. If people as widely known and respected people like Jim and David are prepared to come forward, and it takes courage to do that, then that will help our cause enormously as well.
Wonderful.
We'd also like to just point out at this stage that many people are saying, oh, well, what can we do? Can we help you financially? Can we send you some money? The answer is thank you very much, but no. We've never been in this for money. I'm working pro bono. Anne and Hollie obviously have been cheated out of money by the people concerned on this, but they do not want money for this. They just want justice.
Okay.
And any help. So thank you if anybody wants to help in that way. Thank you very much. But the last thing that we want is money.
It's just support and, write letters of complaint, to the Scottish government, asking why they're covering this up. Yeah.
And you have, don't you? If I remember correctly, you have also addresses so people know where to write on your blog, don't you, Anne? On the stolen kids.
Yes, there's quite a lot of information there about where to write. Actually,
yes.
That's one of the blogs that gives quite a lot of information.
Also,
I have to say,
Scotland Against Crooked Lawyers.
Right. Yes. That's
they have got a website as well that you can write to.
Yes, and I have to say that if you want to, there's the chairman of the SACL, the man I mentioned earlier, Stuart Usher, has very kindly offered to act as a focal point there. And if I'll give a telephone number, which he won't mind me doing at all. And if anybody just wants to make a note of it, it is on the SACL website anyway. But it's 01835 864 899. That's 01835 864-899. Obviously, if you're calling from other parts of the world, I know the initial code might change a little bit, but that's how to get in touch with him. His name is Stuart Usher, and he has been very, very supportive indeed. And indeed, obviously, introduced me into this case in the first place, and has been a solid supporter of Anne and Hollie for a number of years now.
Yes.
I would at this point as well also like to mention about a couple of the demos or meetings that we've got coming up.
Yes.
We've got a meeting coming up on this coming Sunday, the 21st of July, for people who are listening perhaps in Britain. It's taking place at the Marshall Meadows Hotel. It's a place called Berwick-on-Tweed, which is the northernmost part of England, very, very close to the Scottish border. And it's Anne and Hollie's function, really. It gives people the chance to meet Anne and Hollie, all those wonderful, brave people who've in Scotland and elsewhere who've been supporting them, to come and meet them perhaps for the first time, and perhaps also for people who are curious about the story and would like to know a bit more about it. They're very welcome to come as well. There's also a major demonstration coming up that's organised not by ourselves but by Scotland Against Crooked Lawyers, and this is taking place in Scotland's capital city, Edinburgh. It's the meeting outside St Giles Cathedral on the 1st of April at midday. At St Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh at midday, and that's organised by Scotland Against Crooked Lawyers.
All right.
And they have a lot of issues, but obviously they are kind of majoring on Hollie's story at the moment.
Okay, very good. I just want to ask you guys as well, as a way for us to round things up here for this time, if there's anything else that either of you'd like to mention in terms of either aspects that we've left out, or if there's something else important either for our listeners or from your point of view that we should mention and get out, as it were.
There isn't really anything that I particularly bring. Anne may have something that she might want to add.
I can't think of anything.
I think what I really, really would like to say is our sincere thanks, not only to you, Henrik, and also people who've supported us in so many ways, but we've had these wonderful, wonderful messages of support from all over the world, and we've not won yet, we've not gained justice yet, but to have all those wonderful people coming forward and sending those lovely messages of support are enormously rewarding, and they're wonderful for Anne, and especially Hollie, aren't they, Anne?
Yes, especially Hollie. Hollie would just like to say thank you.
Yeah,
She's here at the moment.
Oh, wonderful, absolutely.
Okay, so
yes.
She just wants to say thank you very much for helping her. Hiya.
Hi, Hollie. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for all that you've done, and keep brave and keep at it, okay?
Okay.
Keep up the good spirit.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hollie. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, thank you, Hendrik.
Right.
That's very nice, Hendrik. Thank you for that. And I'd just like perhaps finally to say, I know perhaps we're winding things up now, but for anyone, I can say this dispassionately, I mean this absolutely truly, that both Hollie and her mum Anne are the two bravest women I've ever met in all my life.
Yeah.
They're fantastic, and it's an honour to work for them.
Wonderful. Well, I can't thank you guys enough for all that you're doing, Anne, Hollie, and Robert, obviously. Guys, stay on the line here with us. I'll just have a quick chat before we round things up with you. But again, I want to thank you so much. I'm going to link up a lot of the sources that you, Robert, and that you, Anne, mentioned here, so we can relay people to the right sources and so forth as well. But stay brave, keep courageous, and thank you again for your time.
Much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Henrik.
Thanks. Three incredibly brave people, Robert, Anne, and of course Hollie. I want to thank them for their time, and you too for taking the time to listen to this story, and help them further by staying informed and spread the information about this case far and wide. Get it out to people you know, especially to people in Scotland. These atrocities cannot go unnoticed, and it needs to be thoroughly and properly investigated. Is the law system in place to protect you and the people? Or is it in place to protect criminals at the top? One wonders. These things are happening in so many different countries around the world, and it's about time that the dirt that has been swept under the rug is cleaned out, because it stinks. And it's not until you know about something that you can begin to do something about it. Stay positive. In my view, the encouraging aspect to this is that it's getting more and more known now, a sign that things are moving in the right direction. We are signing off for now. Thank you again for listening. We'll be back with more on this and other stories that needs to be highlighted. Take good care. Bye-bye.